Hey, Eddie V with Digital Moxie coming at you. Been a crazy week. This is the day after Israel and the United States teamed up and bombed Iran. Iran, to me, is just they weren't taking it serious. They didn't think they were going to get messed with, and they did get messed with. They got called out on their bluff because they thought America was bluffing, and Israel. They had a full out attack on Israel to try to mess up that Sky Dome or that missile protection system that they had in place. They were trying to wear that down, and this is the first time that Iran openly ever attacked Palestine. So America teamed up with Palestine, and they attacked. They attacked Iran, and they destroyed 3 nuclear power facilities. And supposedly, I haven't seen any of the carnage of it. Supposedly, they really did a number on them, basically eliminating their program altogether. So the thing is this: I'm not a warmonger, and here we are in the Middle East, and we do something like that, the whole Middle East becomes destabilized. You've seen a lot of framework being laid down by the United States. Him going over to Saudi Arabia, talking with them about things. Him talking to the Jews about what's going on, and him fielding questions with Iran. Telling them that they can't continue to do what they're doing, or there would be repercussions, and the repercussions hit. Now, the only problem with those repercussions is there's going to be more repercussions on that part, because Iran got smacked in the mouth. So I want to see how much wherewithal Iran has in order to strike back or make an attack, make good on their word. Because they almost have to. I mean, really. I mean, not that I condone war, but the thing is that country got taught a valuable lesson. Not that they learned it, because I feel like they're stupid enough and dumb enough to try to challenge America or try to go after Israel. But the problem with challenging Israel, you have the United States backing them up, and all the allies that Iran had, they all kind of backed off. They don't want to have any part of this. I mean, because this is for real, man. Somebody loses here, gets their feelings hurt really bad, they're going to use a nuclear bomb. They're going to either use a nuclear bomb over there, or they're going to use a nuclear bomb over here. And to be honest with you, I'd rather have it never be used. And if this is a deterrent to that, then it was the right move. But if it's only going to begin to escalate things, then we have problems. And on top of it all, you got to look at it like the Bible prophecy. A lot of Bible prophecy pointing to these moments in time. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not into Bible. I'm into Bible prophecy as far as the fact is that all these things are happening and they're prophetic and they're actually lining up. But the reality is that I haven't been able to sit in front of a Bible and backtrack all this stuff and see how accurate. I'm sure it's accurate, but the reality is that I don't want to find out or know that Jesus Christ is right around the corner. Because if you think about it, I mean, let's just say Christ does come, because all this war has been prophesized. Then you got stuff with the Antichrist. Then you have stuff with these countries rising in the West or falling in the West. There's a lot of stuff to process. And the thing is that the best thing I could do is just begin to pray, my own personal journey, and hope things don't go to hell in a handbasket. A lot of people, if you go on TikTok, you'll see a lot of videos talking about, the prophecy of Revelation and how everything's starting to come together. And I'm a Catholic. I'm a Christian. I believe in Christ. I believe that these things are real. I believe that things can happen. If they happen, you don't stand. You stand a chance if you're a true believer. But there's going to be no questioning about things. You're either going to be in a good place or you're going to be in a bad place. And the reality of it is, you have a chance to change your life and do something positive. I mean, you can't control what's going on in the world, but you can control what's going on with your own self and your own soul, and devote yourself to Christ. And the reality is that a lot of people know this, and a lot of people don't do it. And we got bigger problems than the war. When it comes on the religious front, I'm having my own religious inner conflicts. I wish I could resolve them. I'm trying to, but the reality is sometimes it feels a lot bigger than I am. And then what you have to do is you have to break it down into little portions, and you have to absorb it and just move forward with that. I mean, what do they say? How do you eat an elephant? Because an elephant is big and imposing, but the way you eat an elephant is one bite at a time, and that's how you do it. So I'm just giving you a quick update about what happened. I haven't seen any fallout yet. Iran is still scratching their head and saying, "Man, we might." They got punched. They got punched in the mouth, and they're trying to realize, like, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep pushing this, or are we going to just back off? And the thing is that's the next move. That's the next move. I don't know how most people receive their information, or I don't know how most people follow up on these kind of things, but it's part of your everyday. I mean, let's think about it. That can affect you on a lot of levels. If the price of oil goes up, now you're paying more money for gas. If they were talking about blocking the path, the Strait of Hormuz. I think I'm saying it wrong. And that would affect oil prices in America. Now, manufacturing would be affected because products are manufactured with oil. You have cars that are driven with gasoline and stuff like that. So all that stuff is going to affect you one way or the other. Are you ready? Nobody's ever ready for this stuff. I remember back in the 70s when I was a kid, there was a gas shortage because of OPEC cutting back on production, and people would line up for miles because the crisis was, do I have gas to get to work? A lot of things, you see a lot of things in the media now, like, would you survive if there was a power outage? If the electric magnetic pulse, EMP, were to strike America and power would be out. It would affect computers, the internet, everything. And the thing is that most people are not prepared. I mean, do you have a month's worth of food in storage? Do you have gun? Are you a prepper? Do you have guns? Are you ready to deal with these kind of things? No one knows what's going to happen. But the reality is that these things can happen to you. And woe be to you if you think that the government's going to be the one to bail you out, And the thing is that, these are things that nobody ever thinks about. They hear it and then they just one ear out the other. I mean, I'd say there's probably about 3% of Americans think about that stuff and do something about it. Maybe, like, I remember during Y2K when the calendar was switching over to 2000, a lot of people invested in generators because they felt that there would be a power loss because the computers wouldn't be being able to with the numbers changing on the computers, they thought there'd be some problems, and a lot of generators were sold that year. I remember specifically, I was I decided to stay. I was going to stay home. I stayed home with my family, my kids, my old lady at the time, and if something was going to happen, I wanted to be sure. I wanted to make sure we were together because no one knew that if anything was going to happen. I think we live our lives thinking that nothing's ever going to happen, and when it does happen, we're really surprised, and we're really shocked. But the thing is, you can be surprised, you can be shocked all you want, but if you're not prepared, you're not prepared, and now you got your hands out. I mean, just like the whole immigrant crisis. These people were here. They were here illegally for a while, and America said, "You got to go. And we're not hosting you anymore. You have to leave." And then all of a sudden, these people are rioting and having demonstrations. I mean, what did you think was going to happen if they did that? You don't really have any recourse in this country in order to do these things. Now you're forcing your hand and saying, "Hey, we want rights. We want to be treated right. We want due process." That's all out the window. I mean, even people with regular visas are being restricted from traveling because America's clamping down. They're clamping down, and it's just happening everywhere. And the thing, all I can say, basically, in this message, in this video, is you got to be ready. You got to. I mean, you really got to look at things. Are you ready for the future? Are you ready for what's going on? I mean, let's talk about something that's happening like AI. Are you ready if AI takes your job and you don't have a job? Do you have money saved? Do you have another way of making income? I think a lot of things are tied to the government saying we got to get rid of a lot of these people because when AI goes into full effect, we're not going to be paying universal income to all these people because the Republicans call it welfare, but the reality is that the landscape of the country is going to change. And it's changing now. When you're getting rid of immigrants from your country, you're changing the landscape because now you don't have people. I mean, they hired low-level people in order to pick food. Like pick the crops in the fields. If you don't have those people here, you're going to have somebody do it. And that's one of the problems with this immigration law is that they have to straighten that out. Prices in the market are going to go up. Oranges will be $10 a pound. That's just unsustainable for everything's about the quality of life for Americans. I mean, we worry about the price of gas going up. So here we are in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East, fighting wars just to keep the price of gas down. Pharmaceuticals need to make medicine. So guess what? You have the military in Afghanistan taking poppies and selling it to these drug companies so they can make painkillers and so forth. So it's a vicious circle. There's a lot of things that get fed from one enterprise to another. But like I said, you got to navigate this. But navigating in life is because you don't know what's coming at you, and you gotta be prepared as best you can. And for the most part, we get blindsided. We totally get blindsided. And the things you got to worry about now is like, okay, America just went up against a country that is a state sponsor of terrorism. Can there be a terrorist attack in America? Sure, there's already been one committed several times. That's there. That's an active threat. Do we have to live in fear? No, but you have to be vigilant. AI taking over the world as far as changing jobs and eliminating jobs. You have to be ready for that. Has it begun? It's starting to begin. It's starting to begin real slow, and before you can blink and open an eye, it'll be here. You'll be out of a job. And if you think like, well, my job can't be affected by that, don't be so confident. Don't be so sure. I mean, be ready, be prepared. And, as far as things go, this is just basically topics that have been floating around and things that I've been thinking about, as far as wars, revelations, employment. Like I said in my prior videos, I had gotten ill and I faced death. I almost died, from my illness, and I survived. And it gives you a perspective on life, makes you think about things a little differently. But in the same amount of time that I got sick and I came back from the brink, I had 3 relatives pass away within within a month, 2 month time. I had one cousin die of a heart attack. I had a second cousin die of cancer, and I had a third cousin who also just died from cancer. I didn't get the details on that because that side of my family kept it hush hush. But I was just thinking, like, man, I could have been like the 4th casualty in that line, and that's like one group I didn't want to be a part of. So you start building a perspective. You start looking at things a lot differently, and I'm doing the things I love. I'm embracing life in a different level now. Like spending my time on my YouTube channel and getting the right gadgets. Like right now, I'm using my microphone. I had the microphone. I had to dig it out and put it on there. I ended up purchasing a gimbal. Can't wait to. I ended up buying this Osmo Mobile 7P gimbal. I think I was messing around with it, still trying to get the hang of it. It looks really awesome. I mean, I've got a good cell phone. I just upgraded this year on my cell phone, so I'm really looking forward to pairing up my Osmo Mobile 7P with my new phone. But before that, I ended up having this gimbal here. This is also an DJ1 Osmo. It's a camera as well, and it's kind of cool too, you know. And it's a gimbal as well. It's compact, you know. So I really want to up my gadget game. You know, I want to create more content, and that's what I'm doing. This summer of 2025, been watching a lot of baseball. I mean, I'm a diehard Cub fan. Cubs are in first place. Things have not fallen apart yet. Hopefully, they don't. They haven't been winning as much as they normally have. The pitching has kind of been giving up a lot of home runs. It's been slowing down a little bit. They have Shohei Ohtani coming back. You know, he's our little stud pitcher from Japan. He did really good. Hopefully, he can replicate some of the outstanding performances he had last year. And the Cubs do need to go and get themselves a frontline starting pitcher. And the problem with that is you have to give something up to get something. So I shudder to think what the Cubs might give. You know, this year, 2025, we have the emergence of Peter Crow Armstrong. He's not just a star; he's a superstar. This kid's incredible. If you ever get a chance to watch Cubs baseball, keep your eye out on Peter Crow Armstrong. Kid's incredible. He's must-watch TV. It's fun to see a star, up-and-coming star, and experience that rise with them. We have also a player called Kyle Tucker. He's a different story. He's going to hit the free market. He's an incredible player, but I'm watching to see if the Cubs are going to spend the money necessary to go get a frontline hitter like Kyle Tucker. The reality is the Cubs have that kind of money. Are they going to be tightwads? Are they going to choose not to do so? Only time will tell. But I'm thinking if the Cubs get to the playoffs, get to the World Series, and they win, you got to believe they can win. If you don't might be a fan, right? They're in first place. They're playing good ball. They got the money to go out there and get the right players. So we're going to see what happens. And I'll be really, really pissed off if the Cubs don't sign Kyle Tucker, because he's the Cubs got money, and when we're Chicago, we should be able to stand toe to toe with cities like L.A., San Francisco, New York Mets, and the Yankees. They both spend money. I mean, we should be in that top tier as far as spending money and investing in our players. So basically, I just wanted to do this quick little video. It's my little podcast. I'm trying to stay more on top of my podcast and just update everybody what's going on with current affairs and my current gadgets. So I'm gonna sign out. Everybody have a good one. Oh, and yeah, the weather's starting to change. It's starting to be like in the 90s. So stay hydrated. That's the best advice I can give you.